Hello friends, today I'm going to tell you how you can send the data to the server via Android application. So हमने करना क्या है? Basically we want to send data to server. Inside the server we have to store the data in database. So we have to use the database as Mysql. So guys, how we can send the data? Basically, इसके लिए मैंने क्या किया है? I have to create one series. So in my first video, what I'm going to do? I'm going to make the user interface. Then I'm going to do the Android programming. Then I need to create the database and table based on my requirement. Then I need to create the API, web service API, by which I can share the data to the server, and I'm going to make the API with the help of core PHP, and I'm also going to send the data. So guys, how we can do this part? So firstly we have to start with the user interface. Before starting to make the UI, basically we have to understand my requirement. What is exactly my requirement? Actually I want to make one application, that is the online logging system. That is my app. So in the online blogging system, what I want to do, I want the user can share their blog. So how we can proceed these things? So basically, when someone is going to use this application, so firstly he will find there is a blogging screen will be there. Blogging activity will be there. In the blogging activity, there is a form in which he is going to put his name and his email ID. So with the help of email ID, I can easily identify that particular user and the blogging message. So here, this is the one part of the application, because with the help of this application, we are going to send the blog to the server side. In my next app, I am going to show you how you can fetch the blog from the server side. So guys, these are my requirement. I need to send the name, email and blog message to the server. So I'm going to create a new application, file, new project. In the application side, I'm going to give the application name is my blog or learn techno blog. Then here we have to click next, and empty activity, yeah, next. Then in the empty activity, I have to click finish. Instead of main activity, I'm going to change the name of the main activity. I'm going to do the blogging, so I'm going to give the name as the blog activity. Okay, so I'm going to click on the finish. Now we have to wait. My project is creating. So we can wait. So guys, here you can see this. My application is created, and then we have to go to the XML part. So there is a shortcut to if you want to go to from your Java to your XML. XML is your designing. You have to just Control plus Tab. Okay. Now this is the design file. My concern is to achieve the functionality, not for the design. In the starting, I'm not focusing on the designing side. I'm not going to make a better UI. I'm just provide the functionality. The data will travel from my app to the server side. So here we have to use the less than edit text, match parent with hide wrap content. To show the input to the user, we have to use hint. In the hint side, I have to use name. I want to call this edit text into the Java side, so we have to provide the ID, et name. Then you have to come below this. Then you have to take another edit text, match parent wrap content. Here we have to give the hint message, so this message will appear to the user side, and we have to give the message name as the email ID, and we have to provide the ID because we want to call this which into the Java class et email. And the problem is my this edit text will overlap on this edit text, so I want to put email ID below the name. So there is a tag top to bottom of app layout underscore constraint top underscore to bottom of. So right now I'm working on which layout? Constraint layout. So I need to follow all the tag from the constraint layout. So is a tag of constraint top to bottom of at the rate id, at the rate plus id. Which object is this et name? I want to come below the et name. So here I need to give the et name. So you can see this email just comes below the name. Then we have to use another edit text. We have to give width as the match parent, height as the wrap content. Then we have to give the hint message. In the hint message side, we have to give write your blog here. Yeah, write your blog here. Blah, blah, blah. And same problem. You can see this. This edit text is also overlap to the name side. So we have to give top to bottom of, and I want to put this edit text below the et email. So here we have to pass the reference of et email. So you can see this, that write your blog come below the et email. So here there is a problem. I want to give more lines to the blog. So there is a tag of lines. We have to use the lines. Suppose we have to use 5 lines. So here we have got the more area where someone can write the blog. And guys, I want to see this message into the center side. So there is a tag of gravity. I have to use the center. So here you can see this, my message comes into the center part. Now after that I want to use the button match parent reference to send this data to the server side. I have to give the text, so user can display this message, send. Then we have to use the ID, so we can call this object into the Java side. And I also want this button below the write your blog here. So is I am providing some ID to the blog? No. So I need to provide the ID et blog, and I want to put this send button below the et blog. So there is a tag of top to bottom of. et block. Now after that, I want to see this all the content on the card view. Card view is basically for the designing. So if you want to add the card view, so the thing is you need to add the dependency of the card view. So just come to the build Gradle modular over this file, and here you have to add one dependency. Just write down implementation com dot android dot support this. I will check whether the video will working or not. Okay, that's working. com dot android dot uh, com dot android dot support card view hyphen v7 colon. My current version is 27.1.1. So here I'm using the same version 27.1.1. Then I need to click on the sync now. After adding any dependency, you need to click on the sync now. Now you have to wait. Yes, I'm giving some wrong name. Just give me a second. com.android.support. Oh shit, I need to use the colon. Try again. Yeah, now it's correct. Now guys, you have to wait. My dependency is ready. Now I have to go to the design side, and Cardi is basically using for the designing perspective. Actually, you can put your content over the card view. So card view will display all the content like in 3D form. So you can see this. There is a oval shape is will be there. You can provide the radius to the corner. You can provide the elevation to the card view. Okay. So how you can use the card view? Now the question is how we can use the card view. So guys, you have to come here, card. There is a card view. You have to give the width as the mass parent, height as the ref content. So this is the ending tag, but card view is not a layout. So the concern is you need to also put a layout, because if you want to put this content, this edit text and this button, you just need to cut this code, Control X, and you have to pass this code over this card view. So here you can see this. All the content will overlap to each other. All the widgets are overlap to each other. So the problem is we need some another layout. We need a constraint layout. So inside the card view and before the edit text, we have to use the less than constraint layout. Here in the constraint layout, as the width we have to use match parent, height as the wrap content. This will be the ending tag. We have to just cut the ending tag, Control plus X, and we have to pass this edit text over the card view. Okay, finally I got a design. But the problem is the card view will take the same size of whether this content layout will get. So the first thing is, because my content will start from here and it will end from this point, I want to give some padding 20 dp. Okay, now this is the area, and I want to give some background as 000. Okay, not a black color. I want to give some kind of gray color, some of dark of gray color. Okay, now it's good. And after that, I want to give some margin 20 dB. Not 20 dB. 20 dB is too large. It's 10 dB. So here you can see this. There is a 10 dB gap between the card view and between the constraint layout. So after that, I want to give some margin to the button, because my edit text and button somehow are touching to each other. So we have to provide the margin top 20 dB. There will be a gap 20 dp between this edit text and this button. And guys, I want to give, okay, that's it. Now the thing is, after completing this part, I want to give some property to the card view. So there is a card radius. I want to give as the radius of 5 dp. Then elevation, it's a card elevation, so we have to give the card elevation as the 5 dp. So here you can see this, there will be the shadow will be created, and the shadow is size is 5 dp. Okay, so this thing is ready. Now if you want to use the text input layout, basically what is the purpose of the text input layout? The text input layout will provide the animation in your edit text message, like Paytm. Okay, so in my previous video you can also see this. I already post one video about the text input layout, so I'm not going to describe those things over here, and even I'm not using that part. Okay, because my concern is I just want to send this data to the server. Okay, fine. So guys, after that I need to go to the Java side. Okay, in the Java side, firstly we need to declare a Java objects for XML widgets. So here we have to take the one button ptm underscore sign, and we have to take the edit text et name et email et blog, and okay, after that we need to do the typecasting. What do you mean the typecasting? The typecasting is nothing, it's just convert XML widgets into Java objects. So firstly, what are the Java objects? This one. This is the Java object. So this is the button sign equals to search out any kind of ID. You need to call one method. The method name is find view by ID. r.id.ptm send. This is the XML ID. I will show you what is the button XML ID. This one. Okay. So here we have to pass the XML ID. Now you have to click, you have to do the typecast for the blog id blog. Again you have to repeat this process for the email. Again you have to repeat this process for the name. Now my concern is I just want to click on the button send. Okay, so here button send dot set on click listener. So if you want to click on any kind of Java object, to click to click on Java object. So if you want to click on any Java object, you need to call the method of setOnClickListener, and the setOnClickListener method will require one interface. Here you can see this. There is a onClickListener interface. OnClickListener interface. So we have to pass the memory new onClickListener. Now this is the method of onClick. Inside this onClick method, we have to apply the logic how the data will travel to the server side. So guys, the thing is, firstly we need to apply some kind of validation. Now the thing is, what's the validation? What validation I'm going to talk about now? So the validation is no one can send the empty form. It means to say there is some mandatory field. Your name is mandatory, your email is mandatory, and even your blogging message is also mandatory. So here I have to apply the if condition. If right now, where is your data? Actually, I will take a little scenario. Firstly, your if someone is going to put the name as the Pawan Sharma, if someone is going to put the name as the Pawan, so the Pawan will go to the XML side. Basically, we are going to pass this Pawan by here in this ET name. So this user interface object, which is XML, which is ET name, will take my name Pawan Sharma, and after that this edit text object will transfer this value Pawan into the Java object. So here ET name will contain this information Pawan. Now the thing is, this is the Java object value and I want to transfer this value to the server side. So server doesn't understand the Java value directly. So basically we need the string object. So here in the validation side, what I'm going to do, I'm going to just checking whether the ET name dot get text dot to string dot equals, if this will be equals to null, and I'm going to apply the OR operation. OR means to say if this condition is true and the next condition will false, so the if condition will work. Okay, it means to say if any condition will fail, so if condition will work. Okay, so after that we have to pass et email dot get text dot to string dot equals, we have to pass the empty string over here, and also we have to apply the OR condition. We have to repeat this step one more time for the log dot get text dot to string dot equals null. So if this condition were true, if you are missing at you are missing any value, if you are missing the name, or if you are missing the email, or you are missing the block, so you will get this error. So what is the error? I'm going to show you in a tool. Please, I'm going to show you the message, please fill the form. Okay, so the user will get the idea, oh, I'm missing some value. Okay, in the else part, when the else part will work, when I'm going to provide all the information, I'm going to provide the name, email, and blog. No one field has line. Okay, on that condition we have to jump to the else part if all the fields fill are full. Okay, so guys, in the else side, what I have to do, we have to apply the logic how the data will send to the server side. So for sending the data to the server side, I'm using some method data send. I'm going to call this method data send, and you will got the error. So you have to do one thing, just click alt plus enter. Firstly you have to touch over here, alt enter. There is an option of create method data send, click enter, and you have to create the method inside the block active. Okay, so here you will got this method. So my concern is how the data will travel to the server. So basically, for transferring the data to server side, we have to use one networking library. And the networking library is really important because the networking library manages your network. It can just transfer your data in a very light manner, and those libraries are also maintaining your network, so you can also send the large amount of data. Okay, so there is a one networking library which I'm going to talking right now. It's a Volley. Volley basically right now it's the part of the Android. So you have to use the Volley. The Volley will manage your network, manage your server, okay? And Volley will respond the data. Whatever the data you have to send to the server side, after that Volley will respond whether this data will submit it to the server side or not. Okay. So the concern is how we can use the Volley. Guys, Volley को use करना बहुत easy है. आपको just इसकी dependency add करनी है पहले. So you have to come to the build gradle module. Here you have to type the implementation com dot android dot volley colon volley colon 1.1.0. Here you can see this. It comes under the Android. Okay. Now you guys you have to click on the sync now and you have to wait. Then you have to come to the Java side. Now there is a class. If you are going to send the data to the server side, so you have to use one class. The class name is string request. It comes under the volume, and I'm going to create the object. You have to pass the memory new string request, and it requires some parameter. The first parameter is it required the request method. Actually, whenever you want to send the data to the server side, so basically it required the data send request method. What are the data send request method? It can be a get or it can be a post. So basically we are using the get method to transfer the data, and the get is a secureless, post is a secure full. We can pass the security in the post method. So here I'm going to pass the post method because I want to use the security request dot method dot post, comma. In the second parameter it required the API. In the second parameter it required your web service API URL. Actually this URL will help you to transfer your data to the server side. Right now I don't have any URL and it is in string format. So I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to take a one string URL question. Right now I'm going to put null data, and this URL object we have to pass over here. Okay, comma. Then it required the third parameter. It required the response listener. What is the purpose of the response listener? The response listener will transfer after transferring the data. The response listener will give the feedback. Feedback means to say whether your data will submit it to the server side or not. So how it can be work? Just give me a second. You have to just pass new response listener interface, and in the just you have to come over here, parenthesis and curly braces, comma. You have to also pass the new error listener. If there is some error while you are going to transferring the data to the server side, you have to catch the error in the error listener method, and you have to catch the response inside this on response method. So there is a two methods are there. One is the error response and on response. If your data successfully submitted to the server side, so this method will work. And what is the string response? It's a server output. Okay. And if there is some problem while you are sending the data to the server side, so this method will help you to give the error. What is the error? Why your data is not going to transfer to the server side? Okay. So guys, after that you can do one thing. Just give me a second. You have to come out with this, and you have to call the class of uh, request queue request queue. You have to create an object equals to volley dot new request queue, and you have to pass the class reference with the help of this keyword, and you have to pass the you have to call the request queue. Okay, just give me a second. I need to do one thing. I need to pass this request queue over here. Request queue dot add string request. Actually, why I'm going to do these things? Because here you can see this. In the first parameter, you have to pass the post method. In the second parameter, you have to pass the URL. In the third parameter, you have to pass the response. In the fourth parameter, you have to pass the error listener. So basically, what is the purpose of the request queue? The request queue will maintain the queue for these four parameters. So basically, the first thing is the first operation should be post, then it hitting your URL, then after sending the data it will giving the response. Okay, so that's why we are using the request queue, and we are going to pass the string request. And what is the string request? The string request will contain all this information. Okay, so now the concern is, sir, where is our data? So my data is in, just come over here. Before this termination, you have to use curly braces, and for transferring the data to the server side, we have to use the hash map. So there is a method, predefined method, get params. Click enter. You have to just backspace map. We have to pass the data in key value pair, string comma string, key ID and key value. You have to create an object, pass the memory, new hash map. Then there is a object of map. We can transferring the data, we can store the data into this map object. How we can store the data? With the help of put method, and it requires two parameters. One is the key and another one is the value. For example, I can take any kind of key, so I'm going to take the key as name. And what is the value? The value is stored in the et name object. So we have to convert that et name into the string. So you have to call get text to string, and you have to repeat this step for the email et email dot get text dot to string. One more time, block et block dot get text dot to string. Okay, done. Now I'm going to return the map. So after that, this part is done. And if you want to just show some toast, create new toast, success. And if we want to clear the form, this method will work. Sorry, this method will work after sending the data to show the output. Okay, and if you want to clear the form, clear form. After submitting the block, you want to see your form should be clear. So we need to call the et block dot set text, and we have to pass the null data. And we have to repeat this step for the et name dot set text null, et name dot set text null. Okay, now guys, this part is done done. Okay, good. So guys, हमारा ये part complete हो चुका है. We have complete this part, and you can just do one thing. You have to go to the manifest side, and here you have to give the permission of the internet. Without internet permission, you can't send your data to the server side. So now we have to come to the next part. In the next part, I'm going to show you how you can create the database and how your data will travel to the server side. Okay, so basically in my next video I'm going to create the API web service, I'm going to create the database, and I'm going to transfer the data from our mobile to the server side. Okay, so thank you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video, you can just subscribe my channel Learn Techno Hub, and in coming future I'm going to send the data in 5 different way. Okay, so this is a very small way. You can also prefer this method in your industry, in your college project. Okay, so thank you guys, thank you so much.